Language I/O makes it possible for your English-speaking customer service agents to respond to incidents or support tickets in any language right inside the Oracle Service Cloud Incident Workspace. The Language I/O add-in automatically translates between the agent's language and whatever language the customer speaks. We do this through integrations with 5 different neural machine translation engines, as well as through our rapid turnaround professional linguists. We can configure your Language I/O account to employ machine translation only for speed and cost savings, or to use a hybrid of machine and human translations for higher quality. What's more, our solution supports over 100 languages, so chances are good we support the language you need. And regardless of the machine translation engine used to translate your tickets, Language I/O will always enforce your preferred translation for terms that might get easily screwed up. In my demo, I'm going to pretend that I'm an English-speaking support agent for the provider of a fictitious online game, Light Wars. I'll use the Language I/O Incident Translation add-in for Oracle Service Cloud to translate between myself and a Spanish-speaking visitor who has questions about the new version of our game, Light Wars 5. I'm using the topic of gaming because, as with other industries, there are gaming terms that don't easily translate between English and other languages, such as the term weapon skin. English is one of only a handful of languages that uses the term skin to talk about changing the appearance of something. If you use the term skin in Spanish, Chinese, or Arabic to talk about the appearance of a weapon, you'll just come across as creepy. So for these languages, a literal translation doesn't work. Unfortunately, even a good neural machine translation engine, like Google, doesn't always know the context of the term you're asking it to translate. So if you run weapon skins through Google Translate from English to Spanish, you get the literal and creepy translation of piel, or skin. The way it should be translated into Spanish for gaming is aspectos de arma. To compound the issue, if you translate this accurate Spanish term, aspectos de arma, back into English via a general machine translation, it will also be confusing for the English speaker who expects the term skin. Aspects of the weapon just isn't meaningful. Luckily, Language I/O's glossary imposition technology allows us to configure our service to impose all of your preferred translations on top of any of the 5 different machine translation engines that we might use to translate your tickets. For this demo, I've added the term weapon skins to my configuration so that it's accurately translated into Spanish as aspectos de arma and back into English as weapon skins. Let me show you how it works. This is the Oracle Service Cloud Agent Desktop. What I'm showing you today in the Agent Desktop will be available in the browser UI by Q4 of 2019 in case you have already migrated or are planning to migrate to the browser UI. First, as an English-speaking agent, I navigate to my list of incidents, which you see here. These are the support tickets that I need to respond to today. I open up the next unresolved incident in my queue. When I open the incident, I see that the incident is in a language that I don't speak, but that's okay because Language I/O is also installed. Language I/O shows up in the incident workspace as its own tab. In this workspace, it's called Language I/O, but it can be labeled as anything. When I realize I need translations for this incident, I click on that tab. On the Language I/O tab, I will see basically the same thing that I see on the Messages tab, but with the Translate option. In this case, I see a Translate option next to the incoming customer email. I click on that Translate option, and the Spanish text is sent to the Language I/O service, and the best possible machine translation is retrieved. We're always going to use machine translation to translate incoming customer questions because that's the fastest and least expensive route. Furthermore, if it's not a perfect translation, only your support agent is going to see it, not your customer. Instantly, we see an English translation pushed into the incident workspace. Hello, I would like to know if the new Light Wars 5 will include new weapon skins. Thank you, Izarsuri. Izarsuri, the customer, used the Spanish term aspectos de arma. which Language.io properly translated into weapon skins for the agent, thanks to our glossary imposition technology. This translation is great, but note that next to it we see a retranslate option. This is for scenarios where the initial machine translation was not perfect and the agent wants to see a different machine translation. We can also configure your account to request a rapid human translation when the agent clicks on retranslate. It's up to you. Our rapid human translations, on average, turn around in under half an hour, and we can set up notifications so your agent can go about their business while they wait for it. Now that the agent understands what Izarsary is asking, we can go ahead and click on the Respond option. This launches the Language.io Agent Response Editor. In this editor, we can enter a custom response as well as pull in standard text. For example, if there is a standard text greeting I'm supposed to use, I click on the standard text button and enter the hotkey, GR in this case, and hit enter. My standard text greeting has been added, variables intact, so now I'll enter my custom response to Izarsary. Yes, Light Wars 5 will include new weapon skins as part of the special Ground Force set. Below I'm pasting information on how to reserve a copy. Thank you for your interest in Light Wars 5. Diego. When I'm happy with my response in English, I retrieve a translation by clicking on the Save Translate button below the editor. Note that here I've got options. I can have my response translated via machine or human. We usually default this toggle to machine, but human translation is handy for highly technical responses. For now though, we'll leave it as machine and translate our response. A Spanish translation is pushed right back into the incident workspace, with weapon skins properly translated as aspectos de arma. So the customer isn't confused. But before we send this response, I know I have an already translated standard text that tells Izarsary how to reserve a copy of Light Wars 5. This is a question I have to answer all the time, so I'm ready. I click on Send, which moves my translation over to the Messages tab, where I can take advantage of already translated standard text. Language.io saves customers money and makes your agents more effective by human translating your standard text ahead of time. So let's go ahead and find the already translated standard text. I navigate to the topic I want, find the Spanish version in the Spanish folder, and add it to the bottom of my response. Now our complete response is ready to go. We select the Send on Save toggle and save the response. Lastly, it's important to note that all threads in the incident, including the translated ones, are stored in Oracle Service Cloud as custom objects, visible on our tab or in a report. So if you manage support agents and you don't speak Spanish either, but want to see the contents of this exchange, it's all right here for you in English. And that concludes our demo. Thanks for listening, and for more information, please visit languageio.com.